Hi Tea Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet. Today we are checking out Stray Kids S-Class dance practice, and I'm super excited for this. Dance practices in general, my favorite thing, especially with Stray Kids. Their dance practices are always so good, and they always bring so much good energy to these practices. And from the choreo that I have seen between the S-Class music video and the behind-the-scenes stuff, I'm really excited to actually get to see the choreo in full and break some of it down. So let's just get into this video because I'm not gonna be fully prepared. Like, I feel like they're gonna come for me regardless, and I'm just gonna like need to put up with it. Also, can we like already talk about how like even just this first frame, right? Like, why does Han look so cute? I don't even want to talk about Benny. Like the fit, the body language, and then like look at Innie with this cute little cap. Anyway, not to immediately get distracted, but I'm so over the fact that there's whistling and that Felix is like whistling at me. I don't know who whistled in the recording, but still. That move? Why though? Yo, the lean back though? No, but like for real though, I already in the beginning of this love the fact that we have these like bursts of energy. We had like all the footwork and then it slowed down with that like hand movement. Love that like use of those different levels for that and using the different speeds and stuff. And then that like one like hip move thing, I don't even, why? That's my question. Why and for what reason? And then the little like lean back thing is cool though. I don't know if I like registered that was part of the move. To be fair, hands in the pockets too. Unfair. Ooh, sorry, just like I love the way that Hyunjin went back. Hyunjin, I'm sorry. And then that move too with the like clean it up. Yo, oh, the way that Lino got his cap in that too. Okay, the number of times that Lino has almost lost his hat and then caught it during practices, I could think of at least two. That's wild. I like, there's too much for me to look at. I was looking at all the arms and I was like, oh wait, we have the kick. Okay, fine. We're just gonna watch it again. There's too much to look at. Dang, boy. It's a lot of footwork to be doing while doing those vocals. I love that little, like, heel kick. Okay, Hyunjin, put the tongue away. Second, it's a lot of footwork for Seungmin to be doing while doing that vocal. Like, not for me to say that I don't think that he can do that, but like, that's like quite a vocal to be pulling off with that like falsetto at the beginning, and then it goes down into like the chest again, and it has a bunch of sustained notes, right? Like, it isn't like a fast, choppy delivery to those vocals with all that footwork going at the same time. Like, that makes my brain hurt. Okay, I'm gonna go back and let him sing. Bending over too. Interested to know if that changes when he's singing live. Dang, that stomp all at the same time. I love that like those loose hands too. Like it's grungy. Oh, see, I love that like down that they do in that like little, it's not a little bit in, like the behind the scenes of them doing that. I'm like, they're so smooth with that, but also I love how grungy it gets once we get into like the actual chorus choreo. Like you have that precision with like the hand movements, with like the wrists bending at like certain points and the elbows, right? Like there's like certain very choppy moves for that. And then they get more grungy with some of the other moves, like the hands in front of the face and even some of the, like the leaning that they're doing. Yeah, see, I'm like, that part's a little grungier. The arm movements and everything. I love that they're smooth about it. Cute. Dang, the like shoulders there. I also love that part, because we're getting into more of like a hip hop sound with the like an older hip hop sound with the production, that it looks like we're getting some more like hip hop inspired moves. I say as somebody who doesn't actually know all the technicalities of dance, and I apologize if I'm wrong, but my assumption is that. So kind of like making the choreo match up with the production shift there. This little lineup is cute. They have like a good mixture of like, ooh, wait. I remember that in the behind the scenes too, of like Lino being like having to catch Han's knee. But also I'm loving the mixture of these like really playful moves with these more aggressive ones. And I feel like I see a lot of that in some of their more like cheeky songs. Like they have some like tongue-in-cheek songs where the choreo has some of these kind of like fun, playful dance moves mixed up with some of the more aggressive ones. And getting a song like this that leans more on that like aggressive side, it's just like interesting to see like that mixture. They're like locked in too. Like Bangchan's like locked into doing this choreo. I don't know what he's going through for this, but he's like very serious about this whole thing. Ooh, good spin into formation. Don't get distracted. He like looked off to the side. Again, a lot of footwork while doing that vocal. That stomp all at the same time going into the chorus is crazy. I love that, like, cute. Especially having Ian do it. Dang! They just like pop off on that. I don't need you to give me live vocals. Good slow down. Again, control of energy. The moment. There's so much happening. Okay, I know we're getting into the Hyunjin. I don't need that eye contact, but I think there's so much happening in that whole point of like, we just had like the really like aggressive, like really like high energy, like footwork that was going on with those big arm movements. And then it all slows down for this, where the rest of the members behind are doing like really drawn out movements, and then the people at the forefront is more like suspended moments. Like there's lots of space in between like the actual actions, so it's like the suspended moment after all of the action. We just got like a ton of footwork after the like we're special, and I love them all lined up too. Like there's just like this collected front in that whole like formation, and the way that they're holding their bodies, which I love as well. It's minimal, but it's very effective in that like there's something intimidating about them all kind of like looking down at you while they're performing that part, right? That like shoulder move too. And then we have so much movement happening with this formation. And also Benny smirked, and I don't need that in my life, thank you. Oh, I love that move so much. The like turning the arm at like the elbow, and it kind of leads the isolations. It's so good. They're so sharp. And then into that, like something more like fun, looser, and like even like more freeform there. Yeah, catch your breath. Yeah. There's like so much going on in that choreo. I feel like there's probably so many things that I missed because I'm like, dang, there was like so many things happening all at once with them like moving in and out of formations. But I think like the energy that they were bringing and the way that they were controlling it is so good, especially with like the song, right? Like the subject of the song, the name of the song, the fact that they are always kind of in control. And when they have those moments of kind of like bursting into a lot of like motion and it's more like choppy and sharp, that it's like in this collected front, right? Like there are moments where they're a little more grungy with it. There are moments where they slow down a little bit and people are kind of doing their different things, right? Like we have people like a layer in the back doing different things as opposed to the people at the front like doing like the focus point. Even just like in Changbin's part of him like doing like different things and from the other members, right? Like kind of isolating him as the focal point. So those moments where they're kind of like more laid back and there's a kind of like swagger to the way that they're performing, they kind of like intentionally kind of unsync from each other, and it's more about like the images that they're creating with the choreo. Whereas when they get into those more like aggressive moments, it's a collective front, right? Which I love that symbolism there of like, hey, we're out here chilling and making stuff that we like and having a good time and being good at what we do. But if you pick a fight with us, you're gonna have to deal with all of us. Like it's gonna be a group endeavor. So I love that. And again, there's probably so many things that I didn't even clock in this because I feel like there were so many little details and they're quick. Like I feel like I would have to like really go through if I wanted to pick out all the little details of everything. And I feel like even just the different styles of dancers, I was trying to make sure that I was kind of looking at a bunch of different people when they did certain moves, like repeated moves, so that I could kind of see how different people were doing it, because I feel like because they all have kind of a different way of dancing, right? Like they have a different personality in the way that they dance, that I like notice different details depending on who's dancing the move. So again, probably something I'm gonna have to rewatch a few times before I actually like see all the things. I mean, a really good dance practice and choreo, as I would expect. The fact that they like stomp into formation right going into the chorus is insane. Like the sharpness of that, and also like the shift, right? And I feel like that was what a lot of this performance is. And I feel like some of what I kind of bring when I'm breaking down dance practices or performances is my own background in performing on stage, which wasn't primarily dance. I did dance on stage, but like stuff that other people choreographed, and I was just like, I'm gonna trust you because I don't know what I'm doing. Most of it had to do with like more like body movement stuff in terms of like pantomime and tableau and things like that. So that is kind of what I end up bringing into it. So I usually end up focusing on more like storytelling elements that end up being put into the choreo. And I feel like this performance was more about how do we control the overall energy and the like persona of the group, right? And I think that there's a time and place for that, right? I know that they can do stuff that is more intricate and has lots of like great shapes and narratives in the way that they're performing. But I feel like for this song in particular, it wasn't about it's a braggadocious song, right? So I feel like the big thing that they were bringing forward is like having that explosive performance and controlling that energy. And I think that they did that so well in terms of like the more aggressive movements versus those more like drawn out and like very like flowy movements. They had lots of like great arm movements that were like very flowy mixed with those like sharp ones during the chorus, right? So lots of great contrast in the energy, lots of great ways of just having like a ton of going on, filling up the space really well with just them. In fact, I'm a little bit curious now about whether or not they have done performances with any backup dancers, because I feel like the scale of that would be incredible. And like I feel like that's the energy that they wanted to bring to this, right? Even like watching the music video, there's a certain feeling of like intensity and scale and like stuff going on, as opposed to some of their other stuff that is more about them leaning on like the lyrical content of the song, and they have more like narrative driven music videos, right? Like that is something that Stray Kids has done, so that isn't what they're trying to portray in this. And I think that they just did like a really good job of controlling that energy and having those moments of more like laid back swagger to the way that they were performing, and then like this united front of just like really intense, aggressive, united energy. And I really like that. Again, I'm gonna have to like go back and like really look at it, because there's so many like little tiny details with like the shoulder movements and like these like almost like isolation at different joints, whether it's like the wrists or the elbows, and the way that they were like leading certain movements and all of that. Like even just like head tilts, like the way that they were kind of angling their heads were like very specific depending on like what part of the choreo they were doing. And like they were locked into this too. Like there were so many like minute details, and I'm sure that they were like, we have to remember all of these things. But they did a great job. So I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click this playlist to go into my previous actions, so you can subscribe so you don't miss the next time I post a Stray Kids reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.